Do you think we'll ever get one of those?
Maybe, with a little help from our new friends. In this episode, we strap on our lederhosen and slap ourselves silly as we check out all the big news to come out of GamesCom 2013.
I remember!
Dom asks, what the fuck has Suda51 been smoking as she takes a stab at Killer is Dead?
We are at war.
And I give 2K's attempt to reinvent the XCOM franchise a thorough probing as I check out the Bureau XCOM Declassified.
Hi and welcome to the Killer Bits. We are back and everything is all new.
Everything is all new. We're coming at you from an interim location at Beowulf Books in Falmouth, which is sort of a book pub. It's lovely. And we've got a new guy, Rick.
Nice to meet you.
We've met.
Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, Toby, I saw you guys were at the Yogscast Office recently. What was that all about?
Yeah, we got invited up and it was awesome. We saw around the offices and saw what they were doing lately. It was a really, really good time.
Yeah, we hung out with Lewis for hours.
Ages,
just
yeah.
looked into his eyes. It was beautiful. Saw Simon, Kim, Martin Littlewood, Hannah. Hannah's lovely.
Yeah, Hannah's amazing.
And I mean, obviously they were kind of busy because, we've got sort of GamesCom, we did have GamesCom coming up, and the Minecraft UK thing was happening, so everything was hectic there. But no, all in all, pretty great trip.
It was really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll do some more about Gamescom later, it's big news, but going back to the Minecraft Insomnia Expo, I was really excited to see the world premiere of Starbound coming out. I think it's going to be great. I genuinely think that they've developed a lot from what Terraria was.
You see, I see Terraria a lot in the same way that I see herpes, which is like, it takes up like a sizable chunk of your month where you're not allowed to make out with anybody. And while you're playing it, you're sad. You're just sad. Actually, I don't know, that's not really fair. And Starbound, I really like the whole going to different planets aspect. The customization of the characters looks better.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, voxel games, I don't like them. Do you like them?
I've never bought one ever.
You did an interview with Sky Nations, didn't you? That's a voxel game you quite enjoyed.
Well segued, Rick. No, Sky Nations is sort of Minecraft meets Guns of Icarus. I did an interview with the developer, and he's a really cool guy, and I think that may have swayed me a little bit to the game's favour. So come on, Starbound.
Personally, I'm really excited about it. The multiplayer reveal was really good. It looks like it's all working together really smoothly. That was a big aspect about Terraria for me. I had a hard time getting the single player going.
Yes.
You get a couple of friends involved, and it's a lot more fun. Like a lot of games.
You're right. Anything is good in multiplayer.
Mondo! Sorry, baby. I got a job to do. Killer is Dead.
Killer is Dead is the newest game from Suda51. If you're familiar with Suda, then you should know his weird and wonderful imagination and his worlds that he seems to drag you into, and Killer is Dead does not fail to drag you into those worlds, but it's not the best game that I've ever played, not even a little bit. Killer is Dead is set in a futuristic world where people live on the moon and twisted demonic creatures are everywhere. You play as Mondo Zappa, a stylish assassin and ultimate ladies' man. The game is amazing to look at, especially in its use of heavy shaders. This makes environments uncomfortably dark and often quite unclear and hard to make out all the details. And as annoying as this might be, it does actually work quite well. The way the shaders make the characters look is also really sweet. Suda51 has always been absolutely amazing at telling stories and making them so twisted that you'll be left wondering what the hell you just played. This is no different with Killer is Dead, but if you lose focus from the story for a second, you'll be lost forever. The story progresses really quickly. It's also a very short game with only 12 missions in total to complete. Some of the missions can be a little challenging when you're first approached with new enemies, but a lot of the time it's incredibly easy to get through. Changing your difficulty is an option, but everything just seemed way too easy. Having something that is constantly challenging is really fun, and it's a shame that it's really easy to get through. But regardless, it is a fun game. Really weird, but fun. The combat is a healthy mixture of run and gun and hack and slash, so this game really appeals to people who like DMC and Metal Gear Revengeance. Mondo's katana collects blood as you slice your way through your opponents, which is then used to either heal yourself or to use Mondo's adrenaline rush ability. Doing this, you are able to kill an enemy in one hit, making it easier to dispatch those large groups if you find yourself surrounded. As you progress through the main story, you are able to unlock new moves and upgrades by completing several minigames. These upgrades are normally in the form of a new attachment for your robotic arm, turning it from a gun into a massive drill, or what essentially is a Mega Buster from Mega Man. That said, I hardly ever use stuff like the drill, as I didn't feel the need for it. You can pretty much get through the entire game without using many of the heavy weapon attacks at all, which I think really says something about the overall difficulty of the game, or lack of it. What's more, if you do wind up dying, you can easily get revived by Mondo's annoying little companion, Mika. Also, the game never fails to let you know what it's called at least once every half an hour. The amount of times that I've heard Killer is Dead over and over makes me just never want to hear it again.
The job? Killer is dead.
Killer is Dead also sports some interesting side missions and minigames. Gigolo missions are incredibly painful to go through. It involves you trying to woo a woman by looking at her breasts and showering her with gifts in order for her to invite you back to her place. It's interesting, to say the least. Either way, I did actually enjoy playing Killer is Dead. It's not one of the worst games that Suda's made, but it's also not one of the best. And if you liked having your head fucked with, then I would say to get this game, but I wouldn't get it at retail price. In my opinion, would not get it at retail price. But there is a lot of room for improvement, so I'm going to give it a good old 4 out of 8 bits.
Killer is dead.
Say, do you think this game is ethical?
That's none of my business. I just execute the jobs that are given to me.
You only thought it was worth 4?
Yeah, it's not. It's just hard to kind of explain why.
Of course it's hard to explain. It's a surreal experience. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't give like Potato Starfish out of like 497. It's entirely arbitrary with a game that weird because it's got a problem with women and it's exploitative and it's hysterically funny.
Yeah.
Because of that.
I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, no, it's not exactly the best thing. But anyway, what's everyone been playing?
I've been playing a lot of the new Space Hulk remake on PC. I think it's particularly good. It brings back a lot of the memories of the old board game, shouting at each other. I've played some really tight multiplayer matches.
Anything else?
I've been playing Saints Row 4. I don't quite know where I stand with that one. It started off on a weird note, got weirder, got much weirder. I don't know, I genuinely think it's trying too hard. I don't think it's as good as the third one, which is in turn not as good as the second one.
I got the Humble Bundle, the Origin Humble Bundle, which is,
cool.
And I got okay. Well, I got Burnout Paradise. I've been playing quite a bit of that.
Shit, now there's a game.
That is a solid game.
Yeah.
I've spent far too many hours on that.
I love Burnout Paradise.
It's weird because I didn't like that many of the other Burnouts, but Paradise is like it's like a game unto itself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Apart from the motorcycle download pack.
I don't know because
Don't.
why would I ever?
That's the full stop on that one. Just don't.
Just don't.
It doesn't work. What have you been playing then? What's so good about you?
What's so good about me? Everything is so
Everything's
good
good
about
about
me.
you.
Everything is so good about me. I've been playing. I played the Splinter Cell Blacklist. Splinter Cell Blacklist, which I think might be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's outdone. We've had a weak year. We've had Bioshock Infinite, which, while really good at the time, left sort of a bitter aftertaste,
Yeah.
and the DLC's been really bullshit.
Yeah.
And of course, I've been playing Dark Souls every day for literally at
Shocker.
least like 2 hours of my day. At least goes into just going on Dark Souls and hating myself. But that does bring us rather nicely into Gamescom, which has seen some news for Dark Souls 2. Finally. We've had the news that Dark Souls 2 is getting a beta, which you can sign up for on September the 5th, and that's only on PS3, so that's...
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for me, but at the same time, I'll rig up the PS3. And also we've had the Forging of a Hero teaser trailer, which didn't show the armour in full light, because they're clearly ashamed of the end product, which is a real shame. Also, it had this terrible guitar music. It was like, do-do, 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 Dark Souls, do-do, do-do, do-do. bullshit. Do-do-do-do.
Isn't that the Duke Nukem thing?
It really is.
In other news, there's been some talks about expansion packs, and there's one for Diablo 3 and XCOM Enemy Unknown.
I can't wait for the XCOM thing. I really liked Enemy Unknown. Well, I like bits of it. And this, I don't know whether they're not calling it MechsCom, because you get robo legs and you're like, and
You're so anything with mechs in it.
yeah, I know anything with mechs in it.
Yeah, there's another one for Diablo 3 as well, Reaper of Souls.
I don't know if I can be bothered.
I think if it was a Diablo 2 expansion pack, then I'd be all over that.
Yeah,
Diablo
exactly.
3.
Like I would legitimately spend the same money that they want for Reaper of Souls on fucking another cow level for Diablo 2, or just anything, just for Blizzard to just slit their wrists and bleed out.
No one can stop death.
Speaking of Blizzard metaphorically slitting their wrists, Tom Chilton, the lead designer of World of Warcraft, has stated that they might be potentially looking at a free-to-play model.
Well, he didn't say that they were looking at it, potentially. He said that he didn't have anything against it, which is kind of a different thing, but at the same time, like, they're hemorrhaging players.
They've obviously looked into it because, he stated as saying that there is a lot of risk involved and they need to look at the long term. In other subscription news, obviously...
Don't give a fuck.
Oh god, the Elder Scrolls Online.
I was just coming to that, yeah.
$15 a month.
$15 a
on
month.
top of the price of a AAA game.
That honestly put me off.
I don't think that...
Honestly,
I don't
'cause
think
I don't wanna
there is
pay
one that
one
expensive.
for
I think that tops the chart.
I'm kind of excited for TES Online because I love Elder Scrolls. I love people. I hate people so much.
I think it's quite a shrewd marketing move because they're gonna flood the service for 6 months and then everyone's gonna go, really?
Yeah, this
$15 a month?
This isn't
and then they'll cut it.
I'm quite looking. What you think that they're gonna go to a freemium after?
No, but I think they'll drop the price a little bit. I think they'll
think
milk
it
it
is
horribly,
way-
get back all their
Yeah.
development
Yeah.
costs in 6 months, and then just
Yeah.
drop it down to wage level.
I hope they do.
I was gonna say. I mean, it's not like they're giving the client away for free, so they're gonna make all the development costs off that. It's like server costs and profit for Todd Howard and his lies at this point that we're all paying for.
I wonder if there'll be spares in it.
I don't know, actually.
And then maybe they can't implement them.
Well, no, if you can go to...
So obviously the bigger news to come out of Gamescom was about the next gen consoles
Oh god, yeah, we've got a release date
for the PS4.
for the PS4, which is the 15th of November,
November.
Yeah.
everywhere but here, and the 29th of November here. So that's thrilling.
Yeah.
Quite looking forward to my Christmas
There was-
alone,
There was also
eating
a
mince
thing.
pies out of a tin.
You saw the the Vita bundle
Oh,
and the
God.
PS3 thing going down. So blatant marketing things. So if you need the PS4 and a Vita together.
So you know the Wii U, that thing we all laughed at? Yeah, we need you to buy this
Yeah.
Vita so that we can
Nintendo
do-
had it right from the start.
Yeah, of course Nintendo had it right from the start. They've had it right since 1981.
They have.
God, I wish I could argue with you, but I can't.
Yeah. Obviously, Xbox have some big news. They have,
Oh, FIFA?
yeah, as of
I genuinely thought you were excited then. I was about to turn around and slap you.
as of this filming, we don't know what the release date is, but we do know that in Europe you'll get a free copy of FIFA.
What do we do?
We are FIFA 14.
Look, if they'd said Rise, we live in Europe, which is where Rise is set.
No, that's too sensible.
Yeah, you're right. Instead, we've got to play a game about Brazilians chasing an inflated pig bladder.
Yeah.
That's fucking
It's going to
bullshit.
appeal to a lot of people.
It's
but
going to appeal to a lot
obviously
of mouth breathers.
Yeah.
They're still people, Toby.
No, they're not.
They're
okay,
not.
Okay. Look, I'm probably going to get an X-Bone over a PS4, and that's literally out of brand loyalty. Do you know how shit that makes me feel? That the only reason I'm doing it is because I want my gamer score to carry over.
I think you're right. Yeah. That really hurts, actually. It hurts because it's true.
Yeah.
Thinking of things hurting because they're true, Killer Instinct's pricing policy.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit.
I have no problem with a game asking you to pay for content that isn't already in the game.
Yeah, that.
Like single player.
Yeah. You want story? You want some characters to vary your roster? I don't understand what the fuck they think they're playing at. The fact that there's 3 separate editions and one of them is like bare bones, like Scrubtoid edition, where they just shove you into the road and say, there you go, there's your fucking lot.
You can have the game engine and just look at it, or you can buy some characters.
It's the equivalent.
$5 each.
I was
Terrible.
gonna say it's the equivalent of getting a Smash Bros game which only had Fox McCloud and Final Destination in, and I would still play that.
I was going to say that sounds like the choice for a lot of my friends.
Sounds like the choice for me and everybody. Well, not Fox McCloud. I play Mazza. Infamous Second Son is beginning to look really cool.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games for PS4 that I'm now excited about that I wasn't at E3. Like, see, that was the funny joke. I can't get excited about any of these PlayStation IPs. Killzone looks alright.
It's.
Have you played Killzone Mercenaries on Vita yet?
Nope. Do I need to? Is this something that's gonna?
It looks amazing. Like, it looks like it'll save the Vita.
Did you just throw up a little bit in your mouth?
A little bit. Okay, so guys, who do we think has won Gamescom as far as next gen goes? Since everyone apparently needs like a definitive, who's won this one, mate?
I think the Xbox really pulled forward from its horrible showing. I think they've tried to turn it around a lot, and I think they're still being curb stomped by the PS4.
Don?
I just couldn't care. It's hard because I know what console I'm getting, so
It is hard. It's difficult.
it's not difficult. It's just I know what I'm getting, so I just don't care who's winning.
I don't know who won Gamescom, but I know who lost. XCOM, the Bureau.
We are at war, and not the one we were expecting. I give you new orders. Survive, adapt, win.
The Bureau XCOM Declassified is the 3rd attempt to take the traditionally strategic XCOM formula and apply it to a more action-orientated game. Sadly for everybody involved, it's the 3rd time that such an attempt has failed catastrophically. And as such, the story of this game is almost as mysterious as the subject matter to which it pertains.
The year is 1962. The USA is locked in a Cold War with the Soviets. 4 men from Liverpool are topping charts worldwide, and unbeknownst to humanity, the Earth is being watched by invaders from beyond the stars. You play as William Carter, a man with a troubled past whose mission to deliver an outsider artifact is interrupted by a sleeper agent, whose mind is controlled not by Russians, but by aliens. This setup sounds way cooler than it actually is, and in spite of a Mad Men-esque aesthetic and a slick Cold War with aliens setting, the style of the game could not be further removed from the feel of the game. The Bureau is, for lack of a better word, ugly. Its environments range from empty to sparse, populated by obviously contrived excuses for waist-high walls, and unforgivable texture pop-in which causes the environment to look like porridge for a few moments every time you look at something new. There are some redeeming moments in the designs of the human characters' faces or the glow of the Illyrium 115 reactors, but for the most part the Bureau is a game that looks like it came out 3 years ago and has aged badly. It feels like wasted potential, as the idea of a 60s chic X-Files sounds almost as awesome as a world can be.
Area secure.
The soundtrack is another area which shows considerable potential, but lets itself down almost immediately. At first, things feel very B-movie, and I could have sworn I heard a theremin, but before the end of the first level the music had descended into generic tedium and the underwhelming pops and fizzles of the uninspired arsenal left little to no impact. The voice acting is at least competent, and you can tell a lot of effort has gone into the characterizations of the main cast. But secondary characters, like your generic agent sidekicks, fall flat on their face.
He is the key to Mosaic!
The dialogue itself proceeds in one of 2 ways, either a linear progression or a selection of options on a radial menu a la Mass Effect.
Tell me what happened to that girl.
Unlike Mass Effect though, the choices made in dialogue seldom make any clear-cut sense. For example, at one point I was presented with "no sweat" and "forget about it" as possible answers to a character thanking me for my actions. Both answers had no actual effect on the conversation, the player's relations, or even the actual content played back to me.
It's cheap, it's pandering, and more than anything else, it's pointless, and it's this pointlessness which permeates the entire experience, and it sort of begins with the gameplay.
As a third-person shooter, the Bureau is an uncomfortable affair, cluttered with bugs, infuriating AI, and inconsistent difficulty, which serves only to frustrate rather than interest. The gimmick this time round is that the game relies on tactical combat to try to set itself apart from the crowd, as well as to try to feel like a legitimate XCOM game. The inclusion of this element is actually one of the Bureau's stronger mechanics, and the HUD's adherence to some elements of last year's XCOM Enemy Unknown is initially a fairly exciting concept. Sending men to flank and then murder aliens, as well as using their unlocked abilities to outsmart your enemies, is actually really fun. But that wears off fairly quickly as you realise that even on the game's hardest difficulty, the game can be conquered without ever really needing to fully use your men. Or indeed your brain. The interface for this system is another way in which the Bureau clearly takes inspiration from the Mass Effect games, and some of the powers you unlock border on plagiarism from the sci-fi RPG's biotic and technical abilities. Lifting enemies out of cover, enraging them, combining powers, it's all there. But just like the dialogue system, it's not only been done before by BioWare, but also been done better. The sad fact is that if you're being outdone by BioWare, you're in a lot of trouble. This, however, is only the tip of the iceberg. The main problem with the Bureau isn't the near plagiarism from other series or the fact that it calls helicopters Sky Rangers in a shallow attempt to incite nostalgia. Its main problem is that it's an insult to its forebearers. XCOM is a smart series, or at least it used to be. Enemy Unknown understood that, and for the most part was entertaining, because it tried to emulate the old games while providing accessibility to new audiences. Slapping the words sectoid and muton on the resurrection of a vaporware FPS which died with good reason, and paying only lip service to a dedicated fanbase, is simply not alright. Taking a concept like First Contact during the Cold War, and providing only dumb action movie set pieces to deal with it, is not alright. Removing any kind of base management or interception, two of the central mechanics of old XCOM, and dumbing down features like hiring new agents to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood levels of simplicity is not alright. Writing characters who scream like morons upon seeing a new kind of alien they've never seen before in a cutscene, and then following the cut back to gameplay know not only its name but also its weaknesses and armor status is not alright.
Oh shit, Muton!
The Bureau XCOM Declassified is not alright.
As a story, the game is underwhelming. As a game, it's unforgivably boring. The characters behave like planks of wood, and while this may be cool in a kind of Humphrey Bogart sort of way, the lack of any meaningful interaction makes their lives and deaths completely uninteresting. There are moments where I know I'm meant to be feeling emotional, but the performances, bad lip syncing, and convoluted plot take you out of the experience completely. There's also the issue of William Carter, who's a hard-drinking thug hired by XCOM because he's good at shooting stuff. He's also super mysterious, survives the initial attack, and shows incredible leadership skills, and once he gets his Pip-Boy 3000, he can use psionic... you know what, fuck it, I don't even know anymore. Apparently everyone's a fucking magician in XCOM. There's also a noteworthy absence of female characters, and even though that might be appropriate to the time period, we're introduced to a badass lady sniper in the prologue, who's immediately relegated to desk job, because reasons. There's also a communications officer, but that's like saying Uhura's a fully fledged important character in Star Trek. You know, a lie. Add to that an overarching plot done better by everything from Independence Day to Prey, and what you've got is an uninspired third-person shooter which fails to engage the player either intellectually or emotionally. After everything's said and done, the problems with the Bureau heavily outweigh the positives. The game isn't unplayable, but it is cripplingly boring, and the reason for that is that it's catering to the lowest common denominator. It's the dumbing down of a franchise which never needed dumbing down, and has achieved only pure and unrelenting misery from anyone that's had the misfortune to touch this latest instalment.
The Bureau was meant to have been an FPS, and then it was meant to have been cancelled, but now somehow it has resurfaced, containing levels and art assets from the original Vaporware game. It really is a testament to what a jumbled mess the games industry is, that a game like XCOM can even continue to exist or have ever been released. I sort of wish it had stayed in the ether to which it had been eternally damned. I'm going to give the Bureau an ever so generous 1 out of 8 bits.
Right, before we go, we obviously have to talk about what's coming out this month. Obviously, this week we've got Rome Total War 2 and Diablo 3 for consoles. Because
let's move swiftly away from that.
Yeah, we've got
Kingdom Hearts coming out this
month. Yeah, 1.5
HD,
which I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah,
just gonna throw that out
It's
there.
one of those games I really wanted to hate, and then I played it, and it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's fun. That's the trouble with it.
Gotta hate fun.
Filthy casuals.
Speaking of filthy casuals, Amnesia, Machine for Pigs.
Oh, lovely to be a YouTube sensation before it's even out. You know that there's just going to be those chiseled, good-looking men ruining YouTube for everyone. Talk about PewDiePie.
Not PewDiePie then.
Yeah, not PewDiePie. There's also what's that indie game that's coming out? It's all driving and shooting.
3 blokes.
Yeah,
three blokes.
3 blokes in a car. 5, I think it's called.
Something like
Grand. It looks like a grand old time. It's gonna be so good.
So excited.
I can't fucking wait.
Hello.
I'm actually inarticulate with joy. I'm not just sitting here silent. I can't get the words out. I'm genuinely, ridiculously excited.
I have a semi.
Do you want me to get my dick out again?
But I don't think he ain't done 'em.
Do you want to do the bit?
I'll do the bit. If you want to get in touch with us, we have a Facebook, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/thekillerbits, and we also have a Twitter, and it's @thekillerbits, or twitter.com/thekillerbits.
No, you were right the first time. That's kind of upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's.
So Dom, what are you doing at uni?
I'm doing video game technology. I want to be a programmer.
She's the next Peter Molyneux for fuck's
I'm not
sake.
the next Peter Molyneux.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
No, they're promised to appear, but they never
time you draw near, just like me, they long to be.
Oh God.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.